checks and says that no, Donald Trump is not going to be reinstated today. I know, you're shocked. But we'll talk just a bit about what's going on in there. President Biden orders more troops into Afghanistan. But I thought we were all out and everything was all good and hunky-dory. But we'll talk just a bit about what's going on there. Nancy Pelosi announces the staff of the House can now make almost $200,000. So we will go over what is going on with that. And surprise, surprise, the mainstream media tells us that Lollapalooza was not a super spreader event. So, well, we got to dig into that too. It's going to be all this and more. Hey. Do you trust the plan yet? I'm Jay Edgar, and this is Contemporary. Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Contemporary. My name is Jay Edgar, and wow, am I disorganized this morning here. I inadvertently sat up until midnight with Jessica Green and Seawall and our friend Darth Spartacus as well. A little bit of stuff happening in my family that I'm not going to talk about here because it's personal for the people that are involved. But needless to say, I'm going to be out comforting family this coming weekend. So the across the board that we had scheduled, that is canceled as of right now. We're going to do it the week after. I've actually got some new guests that are going to be coming in and some new people who are available to do it because of the fact that we shipped it a week. So I actually almost have a full show at this point. So definitely look forward to that. We will see what's going on with there and who can still participate. So looking forward to that. And we will still talk infrastructure as that comes out here. So it'll give me some time. I can write up some questions. I can do a better monologue too. So I got a week to come back and talk about this, and we will talk, and we'll have some new news as well as about what's coming on here and what's going to happen with the human infrastructure bill. So definitely looking forward to that. Also, you guys, I got a new notebook. It's brand new. It's got a car in the front, which is exciting for me. And it's already got the names of everybody who chatted in the live chat throughout the week, this week. So that's our goal. Let's fill this book up with new names and new people and new friends. That's what we want to see here. We want to get some more people in here to come and say hi. And remember, we do live chat on Fridays, and I go through everything you guys say. And if it's sufficiently hateful and bigoted or stupid, it gets read on the air because it raises the intellectual level of this program. I'm going to take a cue from another live streamer that I know. And I'm going to get a map that I'm going to put up behind me. And if you subscribe to the channel on Twitch, like if you actually put the subscription down on there, on Friday we will go over who is from where, and you can put a pin on the map if you so choose. It's going to be a world map because I know we've got Mad Cow Mark, and he's coming in from Australia. So, yeah, if you hit the subscribe button over on Twitch, and even if it's just the Prime sub, that still helps out. We'll get your name on a pin, and we'll put it on the map, and we will see. We will fill the map full of great followers, great ad heads. So that's something else to look forward to here as well. All right, we've got some of the wares settled out here. I did not get the email sent out that I was supposed to last night. I got out of work early last night. I'm like, I want to email the web lady so we can get started here. But, you know, then something else came up in the family, so now I'm dealing with that instead. But before we get started, make sure you go and check out my great friends, the Daily Ignoramus, the Porch Boys, the Freckles and Brit Show, the R-Rated Conservative, and the Breakdown with Birkenhoff. Go check out all those shows. All those shows are coming back to a new project that we're working on, hopefully focusing on some writing, some video and making sure that you guys get news and culture from people like you who go to work every day, people who still have to struggle in the economy, not people who are rich independently and can go live off the grid and stay away from all these big laws that big government's trying to pass on you, but people who actually still have to live under these restricting regulations and this piss poor economy. So definitely looking forward to that. Definitely looking forward to that project, and watch the Twitter and the Discord for updates, and you will know once we start to drop. So definitely look into that as well. All right, let's get into the finance of the morning here. Let's get this up here so I can see who's all in here chatting. Looks like it just got one. Oh, we got a couple here. But we can fill that up. We can get a lot of people in here. If you guys tell a friend or tell 10 friends, we can get a whole bunch of people in here watching this program and giving us some insight on the news of the day. All right, let's do the finance, though, starting with the Dow, which is at 35,499.85. That is up slightly, but that's after having a turbulent day. It actually dropped pretty hard at the beginning of the day, and then it just started to climb back up steady here. So it did wind up closing in the positive, but not by much. So we'll go over a little bit of what's going on with that. Looking in at the Bitcoin is at 45,339 US dollars and 70 US cents. A slight dip once again, but we will see where that goes as the money printer warms up and as we start talking about putting $3.5 trillion more into our system. So we will look into that and see what's going on with that. Looking in at your fuel, your gas buddy out of Madison, this is probably going to be the last time we do this one, unless we start seeing something major come up here, and we will be shifting into scrap metal prices instead, because I think that's a bigger indicator as to where the economy is going short term. We will be moving into that then instead, but looking in at this, the Costco is at $2.83 in Middleton. Otherwise, the rest of your Madison Metro is at $2.85, which blows because I'm traveling this weekend. And I'd like to see that drop back down to 99 cents a gallon. I'm sure we all would at this point, but we take what we can get, we do it with what we can, and we can't do any more. So we will work with that. Looking into IBD for the morning here, Dow Jones Futures. Apple, Tesla are new buys, lead market rally. Disney makes bullish earnings move as 5 IPOs report. From Ed Carson. Dow Jones Futures were little changed Friday morning, along with S&P 500 Futures and NASDAQ Futures. After a slim stock market rally on Thursday, Disney stock, DoorDash, Airbnb, headline overnight earnings. Well, you know, Airbnb, you'd probably be doing better at this point if you hadn't kicked Stephen Ignoramus off your platform. Just saying. Apple, Tesla flashed buy signals Thursday. Software rebounded somewhat, while memory chip worries continued to hit some semiconductor stocks, industrial, metal, financial, and moving it back to the top so we can get an advertisement. Let's try this again. Industrial, metal, financial, and retail names held up well after some solid gains. Walt Disney reported earnings late Thursday, so did recent IPOs DoorDash, Figs, Cricket, ZipRecruiter, and Airbnb. How was Airbnb an initial public offering? They've been around forever, yo. And they're now making small money. I've seen what it costed. I'm not on Airbnb. I've looked at it, though. I've seen what they get for a room. And what they're taking back up off the top. How was that just an IPO this year? Seriously. Especially as much as travel was down last year. That's actually a little bit amazing to me. I'm not going to lie. Disney stock jumped overnight, flashing a possible buying opportunity. DoorDash, Figs, Cricket, and Airbnb fell in extended trade, while ZipRecruiter stock zipped higher. Oh, I see what you did there. That's not funny. But of course, ZipRecruiter is going to go higher because, you know, they're demanding. Like, they are sending me every day an email. Here are 12 jobs that we think that you would like. Which I'm not really trying to move in my position right now. I will if the right opportunity comes along, but I'm also not really keen on selling insurance to people. And that seems to be 95% of what's on ZipRecruiter. Apple stock and Tesla are on IBD leaderboard and swing trader. On the futures, Dow futures rose 0.1% versus fair value. Disney stock is providing a lift to Dow futures. S&P 500 futures climbed a fraction, and NASDAQ 100 futures fell 0.1%. The 10-year Treasury yield fell slightly after a strong gain over the last several sessions. Remember, overnight action in Dow futures and elsewhere doesn't necessarily translate into actual trading in the next regular stock market session. You know what's not right after the futures at this point? What's usually after here? Because we scroll down enough to go and see it here. What's usually after here? Usually it's the coronavirus numbers. Oh, but we're seeing leveling on the Delta variant. Oh no, it's gone. Oh, I guess you guys better go back to work and give us better economy numbers. Oh, look, we added 1 million jobs to the market, and now the coronavirus disappeared. Oh my God, it's a miracle. It's a miracle. All right. Let's look at Fox Business on a little bit more
Here we
market
go.
news.
We got about 5 or 6
shut
seconds.
the fuck up. Yay, the bell is opening! Fuck you, Fox Business. Dow S&P 500 finished in record territory for third straight day from Jonathan Garber. U.S. stock indices rallied to record highs Thursday as investors shrugged off the biggest annual increase for producer prices on record. The Dow Jones Industrial Average edged up 14 points or 0.04%, while the S&P 500 Index and the NASDAQ Composite Index added 0.29% and 0.35% respectively. Both the Dow and the S&P 500 closed in record territory. For a third day straight, the NASDAQ ended less than 80 points below its own peak. Hey, we've even got a person on Instagram today. So we'll have to go and make sure that we say thank you to Instagram as well. Thursday's gains came despite the producer price index for July, increasing at a 7.8% annual pace, the fastest since record-keeping began in November of 2010. Prices were up 1% month over month, matching the increase in June. Elsewhere in the economy, initial jobless claims last week fell to 375,000, matching estimates. Continuing claims, meanwhile, slid to pandemic-era low of 2.86 million. In stocks, Caterpillar and Nucor remained in focus after the Senate earlier this week passed a $1 trillion infrastructure bill that would provide funding for roads, bridges, and other things. God, I fucking hate roads. Oh, I hate roads, you guys. Guys, that's the worst part about talking about the infrastructure bills. I hate roads. Where we're going, we don't need roads. Drug makers Pfizer, Moderna, Johnson & Johnson, and BioNTech were in focus after the Wall Street Journal reported the U.S. Food and Drug Administration was considering authorization of a pinko pox booster jab for people with weakened immune systems. eBay reported mixed quarterly results as a reopening of brick-and-mortar stores contributed to a 2% year-over-year decline in the number of active buyers on its platform. People still use eBay? Really? I mean, I know it's still there. I've seen the website recently. I just didn't realize people still used it. I thought Amazon curb stomped their asses to the fucking curb. Wow, I am talking like Joe Biden. Curb stomped their asses to the fucking curb. Am I in cognitive decline? Can I be president now? Come on, man. Bumble Incorporated missed on earnings but beat on revenue. The dating app maker forecasts current quarter revenue above expectations. Big data provider Palantir Technologies topped sales estimates as revenue surged 49% year over year. Adjusted earnings matched Wall Street estimates. Walt Disney Company and Airbnb are among the companies set to report their quarterly results after Thursday's closing bell. In commodities, West Texas Intermediate crude oil slipped 16 cents to $69.09 a barrel, and gold slumped $140 to $17.49 an ounce. Okay, gang, you gotta go out there and you gotta buy your Birch Gold, because we've got to get those gold prices back up, because Birch Gold is paying me to come on here and tell you about Birch Gold. Have you guys heard about Birch Gold? Make sure you put all your investments and your savings into Birch Gold. You can put them into your IRA, okay? You can use that to retire, and then they'll come and pay me, and make sure you use birchgold.com/Shapiro and make sure that you get it on there, because my wife's a doctor. We need to pay her student loans, okay? And she's a doctor. Make sure she's smoking hot too. And we've got the 2 little kids here, so make sure you grab your Birch Gold. Okay, Birch Gold. Get your gold, Birch Gold. In Europe, Britain's FTSE 100 declined 0.37%, while France's CAC 40 and Germany's DAX 30 climbed 0.36% and 0.7% respectively. So that's what's going on around the markets here. A little bit of a mixed bag. We will see what happens if the infrastructure bill takes off, and what happens when we start printing all the money, whether the industrials and the materials go up, and what happens now as the Delta variant goes away because the cases are leveling. Let's get into the big news of the day, shall we? Starting with the trend line. I can't believe I have to read this from Twitter, because it's so brave and stunning that USA Today and Reuters would do this. Are you ready? Are you ready, guys? Donald Trump will not be reinstated as U.S. president on August 13, according to Reuters and USA Today. So brave. So wonderful. So brave. It's so brave that USA Today and Reuters would quote the actual Constitution that most of the rest of us with a fucking brain know that he's not going to get reinstated, because there's no mechanism in the Constitution anywhere to put him back in office until such day as January 20th, 2025. And even then, that ensures that there's no honk-honk in the upcoming election, and he actually runs again. I know he's lost my vote, but I know he's got a lot of yours still. He's still got a lot of your votes, and a lot of you are probably going to do that. I won't vote for him again, but you guys probably will. And I don't blame you for it. I don't think any less of you guys for doing it. But no, he can't be reinstated. That would be a full suspension of the Constitution, because there is no mechanism to do so. Nancy Pelosi has a better chance of becoming the next president before 2025 than Donald Trump does. The cackle in chief. She'll probably be there first, too. But I do want to, I want to look down at this too, because, hey y'all, because it's reinstatement day, I know we're worried about each other. Just know from my status, man. Mark safe for reinstatement day today. And you go with the Trump lost one. By the way, in Arabic, MAGA is pronounced Al-Qaeda. You probably want to stay away from Al-Qaeda, the Taliban, and Arabic. Especially if you've got triple parentheses around your name. You probably want to stay away from all that rhetoric, given what we're about to talk about in Afghanistan. They made an Aunt Lydia thing, but I don't have Hulu, so I have no idea what the fuck that is. I know it has something to do with The Handmaid's Tale, but I don't understand anything beyond that. But, we're sitting here looking at this and saying, where's the one that I saw? I saw the one where it was, this one here. Please do not commit acts of violence and or riot, even if instructed to by Donald Trump. Thank you for cooperation. Dude, these people are down here reading this and typing in this. They're fucking touching themselves. Oh my god, they're gonna commit violence. They're gonna try and violently install him. Oh my god. Because then they can fill a news cycle for an entire week and not have to talk about the fact that we're about to put 3,000 people back into Afghanistan as more and more cities fall to the Taliban. Because then they can go back and talk about evil Trump supporters, evil Trump guys. They are touching themselves, hoping that there's a riot. And I'm sure the glowing feds are sitting out here thinking to myself, well, we got to do something. We got to get these guys to riot. Quick, let's get into chat rooms and tell them that we're extremists and that we want to help them, and we'll arm them. No, there is no mechanism to put the Donald back into place. And all this is people coming out here touching themselves saying, yes, he's going to do it. We get to put more Trump people in jail. Oh, yeah. Oh! I'm going to hell for that bid. And you're all coming with me. All right, let's start with Sky News out of Australia. I wonder if Mad Cow Mark is here, because I know he tries to push me to use Sky News, and this is the one that I wanted to use for it. Afghanistan, Taliban take 10th provincial capital as fighters advance towards Kabul. From Chris Robertson, news reporter. On Taliban fighters have taken a key city southwest of Kabul as they push towards Afghanistan's capital. On Thursday, insurgents took Ghazni, just 80 miles from Kabul, posting videos of themselves on the city's streets unopposed. There are warnings Kabul could fall within the next 90 days, with the hardline Islamist group now controlling about 65% of the country. The U.S. Embassy is urging its citizens to leave the country immediately. The latest advance comes as intense fighting has broken out in the streets of Kandahar, Afghanistan's second largest city, which is situated 480 kilometers, or 300 miles, for those of us who don't use communist numbers. Love you, Matt Kalmark. Southwest of the capital. Civilians are fleeing violence there as Taliban threatens to take control of the region. The city's Sarposa prison has been overrun, with the Taliban releasing 1,000 prisoners thought to have been held on political grounds. Taliban officials said that it's now in control of the facility, with staff surrendering and offering up their ammunition. There's one advance as far as the 11th of April. We're going to pull out in May. We're going to be done in May. No, man. We're going to be out by September 11th. Okay, man? Come on. No. I'm telling you. No, that's the right day to do it. We can't do it by May. Even though there's a full-on broker deal to be out of there by May. We got to do it on September 11th. It's going to be my pullout. Except now, it's not going to be his pullout because it got botched. Now it's going to be the evil fucking Orange Man pullout again. You see how the linguistics go on this? Yeah, look at all that fucking red. That's on the 10th of July. And look at all that red on the 10th of August a couple days ago. Look at all that Taliban fucking red. An aid worker in the area told Reuters that fighting did not stop until 4 a.m., and then after the first prayers, it started up again. While a doctor said the hospital has seen scores of bodies of armed forces members and wounded Taliban fighters as a result of the extremely intense fighting. In Ghazni, Afghan officials told the Associated Press news agency Taliban fighters were raising their flags and the city had calmed after hours of heavy fighting. The battle for control of Lashkar Gah, west of Kandahar in Helmand province, continues too, where the Taliban have captured a police headquarters. Access to roads to Kabul through nearby valleys were packed with civilians trying to get into the city amid rapid gains made by the Taliban, but there are fears that suicide bombers and insurgents could be among them. Come on, man! I'm Jill, what's my line? Oh, okay. Thank you, Kamala. I'm going to have the greatest pullout of Afghanistan in history. We've been there for too long, man. Just do it my way, okay? Forget what that former guy said. On Wednesday, David Miliband, president of the International Rescue Committee, warned the West not to take its eyes off Afghanistan as the Taliban's forces continue to make gains after British and U.S. troops were withdrawn. The former British Foreign Agency said, "The time when troops were there was not used to develop a stable political settlement for the country and for the great fear for the moment that the gains being enjoyed by the people are on wreck." Mr. Miliband said that 5,000 civilians were killed in the most recent fighting, 30,000 people a week are fleeing the country, and 350,000 people are homeless. He added that the refugee danger is real and present to neighboring states, within 100,000 leaving Afghanistan each month and going to Pakistan and Iran. The U.S. Air Force appears to be carrying out strikes to support Afghan forces, with data suggesting that B-52 bombers and F-15 jets were among the aircraft involved in fighting overnight. However, it is not clear what casualties or damage the strikes caused. So, yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on here. There's a lot of stuff changing and a lot of stuff shifting here. And, of course, the top trend on Twitter right now is, "It's reinstatement day, it's reinstatement day, oh my god!" Yeah, there's a lot to see with this here, and I mean we're going to go over some of this too. There have been some criticisms of this, of course, because and I see some of you guys in the live chat too talking about the fact that, here we go, we sit in and we talk about spending 20 years building the army, trying to nation build off of this, and how much we fucked up the situation of trying to nation build off of this, and there is some actual merit to this because if we spent 20 years training a military to hold the government capital and they folded within 2 weeks, what the fuck were we actually doing for 20 years? W. I'm looking at you, you old decrepit Texas fucking bastard. What were we doing there for 20 years? I thought we were nation building because Afghanistan was going to be our greatest ally in the world. And we can make sure that they will never fall to the Taliban again if we just train their military. And here we are, 20 years later. And they fold like this piece of paper. With the names of all the people who chatted in the live chat, by the way, this week. So I can give them a special thank you at the end. They just, done, like that. What are we doing? Thank you, Brady Leonard, for that outlook, by the way. All right, we got to keep going here. We got a lot more stuff to get through, and we got to be out of here by 9 this morning. U.S. deploying 3,000 troops to help evacuate Afghan embassy staff as Taliban advances. This is from CNBC. From Amanda Macias and Spencer Kimball. The Biden admin will deploy 3,000 troops to Afghanistan in order to facilitate the drawdown of personnel at the U.S. Embassy in Kabul as the Taliban rapidly advances towards the Afghan capital. The troops will consist of 3 infantry battalions in total from the Marines and the Army, will deploy to Kabul's Hamid Karzai International Airport within 24 to 48 hours. Pentagon spokesman John Kirby said during a press briefing on Thursday. This is a very narrowly focused mission of safeguarding the orderly reduction of civilian personnel out of Afghanistan, Kirby said, adding that the Pentagon expects to increase its airlift capability in the region. Additionally, a U.S. infantry brigade will be positioned in Kuwait in the event it is needed in Afghanistan to help secure the airport. Meanwhile, a joint unit from the Army and the Air Force consisting of 1,000 personnel will deploy to Qatar to help process special immigration visas for Afghan nationals who assisted U.S. and NATO troops during the war. Kirby said that despite the temporary influx of troops into Afghanistan, the U.S. expects to fully withdraw all troops by August 31st. The U.S. Embassy in Kabul urged Americans again on Thursday to leave Afghanistan immediately, warning that its ability to assist citizens is extremely limited due to deteriorating security conditions and reduced staffing. If you are a civilian American citizen and you are in Afghanistan right now, some of this is on you. I'm sorry. There's still a lot of this coming up from the current administration fucking up and botching the withdrawal, but some of this is on you, I'm sorry. In light of the evolving security situation, we expect to draw down to a core diplomatic presence in Afghanistan, State Department spokesman Ned Price said on Thursday. Right now, given how mad the Taliban is with you guys, that's a good way to get an ambassador executed. So I don't know if it's just the fact that you don't like the guy that you have as your ambassador. Maybe you don't. Maybe you're trying to silence him. Maybe you're trying to put him in a situation where you don't have to deal with him back at home. No, our military would never do a thing like that. But yeah, I would probably be getting the diplomatic presence out of there too right now. At least for a couple months. Not seeing this as a win situation for you guys diplomatically. Price added that Secretary of State Anthony Blinken... Oh. There's some good news. Anthony Blinken is involved. And Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin. That might be worse. Spoke with Afghan President Ashraf Ghani as well as NATO partners about the new troop movement earlier on Thursday. Since President Biden's April decision to withdraw U.S. troops from Afghanistan, the Taliban have made stunning battlefield advances, with now nearly 2/3 of the nation under their control. The militants captured the strategic city of Ghazni on Thursday, bringing their front line within 95 miles of Kabul, a staggering development that comes nearly 2 weeks before U.S. and NATO coalition forces exit. The Taliban also claims to have captured Kandahar and Herat, Afghanistan's second and third largest cities. Afghan officials confirmed Thursday evening that the Taliban captured Kandahar, the 12th provincial capital of 34 to fall to insurgents, according to the report by the Associated Press. And there again, there's April to August. The teal is government-controlled areas. The tan is contested areas. And the orange, I think that's orange, I'm fucking colorblind. The orange is Taliban control. That's where we were in April. That's where we are now. How it started, how it's going. Despite being vastly outnumbered by the Afghan military, the Taliban seized 3 provincial Afghan capitals, as well as the local army headquarters in Kunduz on Wednesday, according to the Associated Press. Wednesday's gains came on the heels of a dramatic weekend blitz where the group took 5 provincial Afghan capitals. The Pentagon has previously said that the continued Taliban offensive across the war-torn country runs against a commitment made last year by the group to engage in peace talks with the Afghan government. What we're seeing on the ground is that the Taliban continues to advance and assume control of district and provincial centers that clearly indicates that they believe it is possible to gain governance through force, through brutality, through violence, through oppression, which is at great odds with their previously stated goal of actually wanting to participate in a negotiated political solution, Kirby told reporters. All right, this is not hard to figure out what happened here. And I am not a foreign policy expert by any means whatsoever. Like, if I ran for president, that would be what I would need the most help on, would be foreign policy. Except I don't know who I could trust, because anybody that I could hire, because I'd probably run as a Republican, would be warmongering, fucking neocon, beat off to the thought of bombing brown kids. People like John Bolton, that fuckwad, or anybody in the fucking Bush cabinet, those fucking people. That's who would be the ones who would be running up the line and say, oh, yes, Mr. President, yes, I will tell you exactly what we need to do on foreign policy. Raytheon, we're going to need some more bombs. But here's reality. I'm going to be completely realistic with you. Now, as far as staying in there for 20 years, that was the first mistake. Because now you've got enough propaganda to come out. And, I mean, you know, you've got people fresh out of high school who are coming in and joining the military off of this. We have a great military in our country, and it does turn out some really awesome people, especially if they go in to make a career out of it and go into the officer corps on top of it. We do have a great military in our country, and I have seen it turn around some people who were going down a really, really dark path. I have seen people who were headed straight toward a life of crime, who have come out to be great community leaders, great business leaders. I've met people like that because they get some of the discipline from the military. But when you're 18, hot-headed, still think you know it all, and you're being stationed in Afghanistan, you haven't quite learned that level of responsibility yet. So, I mean, they've got the propaganda posters that they can easily use all around here for 20 years. And then on top of this, they get this deal handed to them. The Taliban says, okay, well, we'll work with the government. We'll be peaceful. Just keep your word and get the fuck out of here by May. And the evil Cheeto dictator says, okay, that's fine. You guys work it out. We'll send some diplomats out there if you need some help. But you work it out, but we'll be out of here by May. And I'll go and announce it. It'll be the greatest thing ever. We'll be out of Afghanistan in May. It'll be the greatest thing because we've been there for 20 years. And I am the greatest president, okay? All right. We're going to get this done. You just listen to me. You let me do the talking, and we'll get this done. And then the next guy comes in and says, hey, come on, man. What's his name? The guy with the hot wife. What's his name? Yeah, he came in here and said, okay, he'll be out in May, but I can't let him have that victory. They told me that they won't give me my tapioca if I give them the victory. So we're going to go out, and it's going to be September 11th. Yay, aren't I great? And here now you have 4 months, 3 months for sure, because it's August right now, of full-on propaganda that the Taliban can pull up and say, hey, you remember those guys that promised they'd be out of here by May? Hey, they're still here. Join us, and we will make sure that they never come back in again. We will get all of their asshole people out of here, and we will make sure you never have to deal with them again. Just sign here, sign here, sign here, pledge your loyalty here, and say praise Allah, and pray for us when you do your morning prayer. Even somebody who's weak on foreign policy knows that if you back out on a deal like this, people are going to get angry and pissed off about it, and they're going to be easily swayed by the propaganda from the militant arm that wants to be in control of the region. This is not rocket science. This is like year one deal making. So that's what we see coming back up off of that. All right, let's grab one from the Daily Wire. Begging Joe, Biden admin pleads with Taliban terrorists to spare U.S. Embassy in Kabul. Report. Is he actually going to say, come on, man? Do I have a video? Of course I don't have a video. That means I got to do the Biden voice again. Come on, man. This is from Ryan Saavedra. Democratic President Joe Biden's admin is reportedly pleading with Taliban terrorists to spare the U.S. Embassy in Kabul as the extremist group has rapidly regained control. I'm already talking like it. Don't worry, man. It's just a childhood stutter of the majority of Afghanistan. American negotiators are trying to extract assurances from the Taliban that they will not attack the U.S. Embassy in Kabul if the extremist group takes over the country's government and ever wants to receive foreign aid, the New York Times, a former newspaper, reported. The effort, led by Zalmay Khalilzad, the chief American envoy talks with the Taliban, seeks to stave off a full evacuation of the embassy as they rapidly seize cities across Afghanistan. Comfortably Smug tweets out, begging Joe, beg Russia not to hack 16 places, beg OPEC to increase production, beg the Taliban to spare Americans. The news comes as the Taliban seized Kandahar and Herat on Thursday, two of the largest cities in Afghanistan. The Taliban now controls 12 of Afghanistan's 34 provincial capitals, an estimated 2/3 of the country, and has cut off a critical highway linking Kabul to the nation's southern provinces. U.S. officials suggest that Kabul could fall to the terrorists in a matter of weeks. Ooh, I got the hiccups. The Taliban's rapid advancement through the country has netted the extremist group control of the U.S.-made military vehicles, anti-aircraft guns, armored tanks, and artillery that were provided to Afghan security forces to fight against the Taliban. These captured systems will increase the mobility and lethality of the Taliban, making them a more formidable adversary, said Bradley Bowman, senior director of the Center for Military and Political Power at the Foundation for Defense Democracies. We've already seen the Taliban using captured Humvees to patrol Kunduz and Sar-e-Pol. And I believe I have this picture down further in the stack here. Julian Ropke tweets out the Taliban not only seized approximately 100 U.S. Humvees and Max Pro MRAPs at Kunduz Airport, but also several U.S. Scan Eagle drones. Billions of U.S. taxpayer money is going to Islamist extremists, thanks to the administration's hasty withdrawal without a peace deal or follow-up mission. Well, I mean, hey, Biden admin, I mean, if you're just going to give away taxpayer money, you know, you have my tax records on file. You have my address on file because of tax records. And you can just have somebody deliver my M1 Abrams and my drone to the address that you have on file, please, and thank you. You guys think that'll work? Anyway, the sheer amount of vehicles raises questions if anyone has ever used them after they were paid and transferred by the U.S. Now, every Taliban fighter gets his own Ford, Toyota, Humvee, or MRAP. The U.S. announced on Thursday it was deploying thousands of troops to Afghanistan to assist with evacuating Americans. Pentagon spokesman John Kirby said 3 battalions, one from the Army and 2 from the Marines, will enter Afghanistan over the next 48 hours to assist with security at the Kabul airport, and that a brigade of 4,000 Army soldiers was being sent to Kuwait to be on standby if more troops were needed. The news comes as Biden stated last month that it was not inevitable that the Taliban would take over the country once the U.S. left. Biden further claimed that the likelihood that there's going to be Taliban overrunning everything and owning the whole country is highly unlikely. Robert Gates, who served as defense secretary for the Obama admin, previously warned that Democratic President Joe Biden had been wrong on nearly every major foreign policy and national security issue over the past 4 decades. Yeah, but he sure has never seen a military action in the Middle East that he didn't want to sign his name to. Come on, man, let's go over to the Middle East. All right. From ABC News. Taliban sweeps across Afghanistan south, takes 4 more cities. From Tamim Aghar, Rahim Faiz, and Joseph Krauss of the Associated Press. The Taliban completed their sweep of the country's south on Friday as they took 4 more provincial capitals in a lightning offensive that is gradually encircling Kabul just weeks before the U.S. is set to officially end its 2-decade war. The latest significant blow was the loss of the capital of Helmand province, where American, British, and Allied NATO forces fought some of the bloodiest battles in the past 20 years. Hundreds of foreign troops were killed in the province, which is also a major opium hub. See, that's where your fentanyl comes from. The insurgents have taken half the country's 34 provincial capitals in recent days, including its second and third largest cities, Herat and Kandahar. The Taliban now control more than 2/3 of the country, just weeks before the U.S. plans to withdraw its last troops. While the city of Kabul isn't directly under threat yet, give it time, the losses and advances elsewhere further tighten the grip of a resurgent Taliban. The latest U.S. military intelligence assessment suggests Kabul could come under insurgent pressure within 30 days, and that's a downgrade because it was 92 articles ago. If current trends hold, the Taliban could gain full control of the country within a few months. In the south, insurgents swept through the capitals of Zabul and Uruzgan provinces, in addition to Helmand. Ataullah Afghan, the head of the provincial council in Helmand, said that the Taliban captured Lashkar Gah following weeks of heavy fighting and raised their white flag over government buildings. He said that 3 national army bases outside Lashkar Gah remain under control of the government. Ataullah, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but not for long. Atajan Hakbayan, the provincial council chief in Zabul province, said the local capital of Kalat fell and that officials were in a nearby army camp preparing to leave. Bismillah Jan Mohammed and... Oh, come on. Are they just making these names harder as they go through? All right. We're going to try this without butchering this one. Kudratullah Rahimi. That's got to be the way that one's done. Lawmakers from Afghanistan's southern Uruzgan province said that local officials surrendered Tiran Khat to the Taliban. Mohammed said the governor was headed to the airport to depart for Kabul. In the country's west, meanwhile, Fazil Haq Ashan, head of the provincial council in Ghor province, said its capital, Feroz Koh, also fell to the insurgents. With security rapidly deteriorating, the U.S. planned to send in 3,000 troops to help evacuate some personnel from the U.S. Embassy in Kabul. Separately, Britain said about 600 troops would be deployed on a short-term basis to support British nationals leaving the country, and Canada is sending special forces to bring maple syrup and say, hey, Hey, come on, guys. Hey, you want to just be nice and let our neighbors get out of here? Eh? What's your business in Kabul? Eh? Thousands of Afghans have fled their homes amid fears that the Taliban would again impose a brutal, repressive government, all but eliminating women's rights and conducting public executions. But they won't be on YouTube anymore. Peace talks in Qatar remain stalled, though diplomats are still meeting, as the US, European, and Asian nations warned that any government established by the force would be rejected. We demand an immediate end to attacks against cities, urge a political settlement, and warn that a government imposed by force will be a pariah state, said Zalmay Khalilzad, the U.S. envoy to the talks. But the Taliban advance continued as they pushed into the capital of Logar province, just 80 kilometers south of Kabul. So, and I mean, we see all the red going here. Let's actually get a map up of this, so we can kind of look at where this is strategically. If they'll even give me a map at this point, because everything is going to be a wall of fucking news. Oh my god, look at what's happening over there. Let's drop this in between ABC and the New York Post. So, I mean, there's Afghanistan. It's a landlocked country that comes up and borders on a mountain range, borders on Persia, which means it's one of the big entrances into the Middle East. I mean, you can still go around to Pakistan, and then you've got all the other stands in the area too: Turkmenistan, Uzbekistan, Tajikistan, Kyrgyzstan, Kazakhstan. So, I mean, Borat's fucked at this point. But it is, I mean, it'll depend too on where they go with China and China's incursion into the Middle East. If they want to go in there, if they want to get the poppy fields. I know that they've got their hands full with India, Nepal, and Bhutan, and possibly Taiwan and China at this point. But that is, I mean, especially if you're going to take an offensive against China, which I know is not outside of the cards right now either. That's a strategic stronghold, and especially if we're going to be in there forever and ever, amen, which really right now it looks like that's what's going to happen. That would be a strategic stronghold to go back and take the fight to China. Because although the border is small, it looks like a little penis moving into the Chinese area, especially along Pakistan, that still is a strategic stronghold that you can go through there. Otherwise, anywhere else that you have as a U.S. Ally, Iraq, Saudi Arabia, Oman, Yemen, Israel, with any of the rest of those, you've got to take land troops through Iran, Persia, who is also not happy with us. Partially because of what we did 20 years in Afghanistan, but also partially because death to America. So there is some strategic advantage to this if we go in the global direction I think that we're going to go, that they don't want us to go. But a lot of this, I mean, it's not Russia's problem because they don't hold this territory anymore. The Soviet Union fell and this territory is gone. So it's definitely not a Russia problem anymore. It's not really a Europe problem. The Persians might not care for it, but other than that, it's a China and India problem, really, among all things. But yeah, that's where it is. And that's what I did want to point that out as we're talking about this, because I know that some of my more libertarian LP friends will look at this, point to this, and say, okay, we will attack whatever country you want. You just point to it on the map, and they'll show the blank map. Well, here's where it is. Here's the situation. All right, let's grab one from the New York Post. Nearly 80% of Americans blame Biden for inflation surge. Are we done with Afghanistan? We're not done with Afghanistan. Why the fuck is this up to the top? All right. Okay. I'm sorry. Let's take one from Pajwak, Afghan News, reflecting the truth. So let's grab this one right from Afghanistan. Taliban seized Kandahar, Baghdad, Gore, Helmand capitals. From Pajwak, Afghan News. Oh, this is a little one here. You need to subscribe to view the full article. Please log in and register a new account. Never mind, we're not going to take this one. Pompeo, there's some good news. We're going to hear from Mike fucking Pompeo. Pompeo reveals what Trump told Taliban about how U.S. would withdraw. Blasts Biden's poor leadership. From Daily Wire News. Mike Pompeo, the former CIA director and Secretary of State, slammed President Biden in an interview on Thursday over the way that Biden's admin has pulled out of Afghanistan. Pompeo also revealed what former President Trump told the Taliban in meetings about how the U.S. would pull out of the nation. We're going to pull out. Okay, we're done here. We got what we needed. We're going to pull out before the climax, which is something I don't know about because they never pull out before the climax. Oh, okay. Yeah. Pompeo said the rapidly deteriorating conditions in the country, which led to the U.S. announcing earlier that day it was going to deploy 3,000 back to Afghanistan, was the result of poor planning, poor leadership, and that the model of deterrence that the Trump admin had in place as we prepared to bring the soldiers, sailors, Marines, everyone who was on the ground there home, looks like they have not been able to execute this. I don't know what they're doing, but we had conditions attached to how we were thinking about this withdrawal. I was part of those negotiations, Pompeo said. I was in the room when President Trump made very clear to Mullah Baradar, the senior Taliban negotiator, that if you threaten an American, if you scared an American, certainly if you hurt an American, that we would bring all American power to bear to make sure that we went to your village, to your house. We were very clear about the things that we were prepared to do to protect American lives, and indeed, since we began these negotiations back in February of 2020, there wasn't a single American killed by the Taliban. We had established a deterrence model. Let's see how long this is.
After this announcement from the Pentagon, 3,000 additional troops will be sent to Afghanistan to help secure the drawdown of U.S. Embassy personnel in Kabul. Former Secretary of State Mike Pompeo joins me now by phone. Secretary Pompeo, good to have you here. So you listened to all of that. Your reaction, what do you think about this move?
Well, it looks like this was poor planning, poor leadership, and that the model of deterrence that the Trump administration had in place as we prepared to bring the soldiers, sailors, Marines, everybody who's on the ground there home, looks like they've not been able to execute this. Martha, you know this. Big strategy depends on planning and execution. Looks like there's a bit of panic. I hope that they've got the right number of folks. They can get them there quickly. I hope that we can protect Americans in the way that the Trump administration had every intention of doing as we drew down our forces there.
And how would you have done it differently?
Well, I don't know exactly what they're doing, but we had conditions attached to how we were thinking about this withdrawal. I was part of those negotiations. I was also in the room when President Trump made very clear to Mullah Baradar, the senior Taliban negotiator, that if you threatened an American, if you scared an American, certainly if you hurt an American, that we would bring all American power to bear to make sure that we went to your village, to your house. We were very clear about the things we were prepared to do to protect American lives, and indeed, since we began those negotiations back in February of 2020, there wasn't a single American killed by the Taliban. We had established a deterrence model. I hope we haven't lost that for the Americans who are still on the ground there in Kabul. And then the last thing, Martha, we had begun the reduction of our operations in that embassy. I ordered a drawdown in the embassy in Kabul that took place. We were continuing to reduce our risk and our footprint there. I hope that they continue down that path. I hope that we are now in a place we can get our folks out of there in a way that is rational and consistent, not only with the need to get our Americans home, but making sure that this ungoverned space doesn't become another hotbed for Al-Qaeda or ISIS or some other radical Islamic terrorist group.
I mean, they're talking about leaving 600 people there ultimately if this temporary removal of our remaining personnel works. What if that's not enough to protect that area from the Taliban? I mean, if they're sending in 3,000 people to get out 2,500, is 600 going to be enough? And are those people going to be safe on the ground without additional support?
And that's where I want to end that right there, because that's what we're gonna. Oh, we'll just leave 600 people in there. That's not a pullout. That's not a drawdown. That is still a military occupation in a country we have no fucking business being in. And yeah, we're gonna get to the point where they're gonna do everything that they can to try and keep us in that fucking shithole forever. With people going to war over there that weren't even born when the September 11th attacks happened. Do you see it yet? Do you see it? The military contractors want us to be in there forever. So, that's where we're sitting on Afghanistan right now. It's going to be interesting to see where this goes. What happens with this? And if we actually are pulled out, or hey, come Christmas, hey man, no, look how many people I employed here, because we've got a troop presence in Afghanistan again, because we've got to be there forever, man. Come on, man. All right, now we'll get into talking about the houseplant in chief. Nearly 80% of Americans blame Biden for inflation surge. Poll from Emily Crane. The vast majority of Americans saying surging grocery and household goods prices are causing them financial hardship, and nearly 80% blame the Biden admin's economic policies, a new poll says. About 70% of Americans say the national economy is in bad shape, and the majority, 86%, are concerned about inflation, according to Fox News poll released on Wednesday. Of those polled, 86% blamed the COVID-19 pandemic for increasing prices, and 79% blamed the Biden admin for his economic policies. The surging cost of groceries and gas are causing financial hardship for 70% of the people with incomes of less than $50,000, the poll said. Over 50% of those who earn $100,000 say the price increases have also been tough on them. The degree to which lower-income households are feeling the squeeze on food and fuel is striking, if not surprising, and it highlights the risk that inflation could push families on the brink over the financial edge, said pollster Chris Anderson. The poll, conducted by Beacon Research and Shaw & Company Research, was carried out between August 7th and 10th. It polled 1,002 randomly selected registered voters across the country. It comes as inflation continued to surge in July, with Labor Department's Consumer Price Index jumping 5.4% compared to last year. Consumer prices, which measured a basket of goods and services as well as energy and food costs, rose 0.5% from the month prior, the Labor Department said. Food prices were up 0.7% in July from the prior month and 3.4% from a year ago, according to the data. The cost of meat surged, with frankfurters and various cuts of pork up 4.8% and 4.4% respectively from June. The price of eggs also increased 1.6% from the month prior. Yes, they have. I've been noticing that, actually. So, yeah, we see the inflation. We're starting to see it at food, but they tell you, don't worry about the food, and just worry about the consumer goods and everything off of this, which is, food is the universal. Everybody's going to buy that shit. Not everyone's going to buy a big screen TV every month. Everyone's going to buy food throughout the month. So that just sounds like some major linguistics that's going on here. But something else to keep in mind with this is one cherry-picked Fox News poll. Because I didn't go into RCP and look at this, but I don't know if there's going to be an aggregate for something like this. Like, hey, Harris X says that this is what they blame, and The Hill says this is what they blame, and Reuters says this is what they blame. This is one cherry-picked poll, and what have I always said? Always use an aggregator, and even those are not right sometimes. Never ever take one cherry-picked poll. But it's also still pretty telling off of this. All right, what else do we have here? What else are we doing today? There's the MRAPs and everything else. All right, let's talk about Mike Lindell. The day of the pillow is here, guys. It's reinstatement day. It's going to happen this time, we promise. Mike Lindell reportedly attacked. I'm okay, but it hurts. From Alex Caldwell over Right Side Broadcasting. not green check verified. Take this take this at its face value. Take it with a big grain of salt. I mean, there's no verification of this whatsoever. This is whatever they want to put out and whatever propaganda they want to put out, but I thought that it was worth talking about. At the very least. MyPillow CEO Mike Lindell was reportedly physically assaulted following the close of day 2 of his cyber symposium in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. According to Lindell, he was attacked and punched in the ribs on Wednesday night. I'm okay, but it hurts, Lindell said at his cyber symposium on Thursday morning. Lindell has been hosting a 3-day cyber symposium event to expose alleged election fraud from the 2020 presidential election. Thursday marks the final day of the conference. Right Side Broadcasting Network is streaming live coverage of the 72-hour event on Rumble and the RSBN mobile app. RSBN will provide updates on the developing story, but I really don't care that much. Don't make a big showy symposium. You're not going to reinstall the former president. There is no constitutional mechanism to do that. But if you do find something, take it out to your local governments and say, here's what we found in your election. This is what you need to shore up. This is where your weaknesses are. Do something about it. And if you don't do something about it, then we will release it to the media and say, hey, here is where the weaknesses are in the election system. But there are religious people out there, religious followers of the MAGA movement who think, today is the day. He will be coming down on a white horse with wings and a unicorn horn to take his rightful place as the leader of the 1,000-year Reich in America. All hail Trump! And that's the part that Jared Holtz is going to clip if I ever get famous. Right there. No context. He's just going to say that's what this guy actually believes. Look at him. Hi, Holt. Let's talk about Amy Coney Barrett. Tweeting out from SCOTUS blog, breaking, the Supreme Court refuses to grant Indiana University students request to block the school's vaccine mandate. Justice Amy Coney Barrett rejected the request without referring it to the full court. Well, this will be interesting because this was supposedly the most evil person in the world who was going to do nothing but get into the Supreme Court and overturn the law so that we never have to have vaccines anymore and women never can be allowed in the workforce. And oh my God, she's allowed in the workforce, but she's going to make sure every other woman is chained to her stove. That's the same woman. From CNN, Justice Amy Coney Barrett denies request to block Indiana University's vaccine mandate. From Ariane DeVogue. Well, if you are against this particular vaccine, you probably shouldn't be giving your money to Indiana University. That's the way I would approach it. Maybe I'm wrong. Justice Amy Coney Barrett declined a request to block Indiana University's vaccine mandate, signaling that similar policies going into effect amid a COVID-19 surge could pass legal muster. Barrett, who has jurisdiction over the appeals court involved in the case, acted alone without referring the matter to the full court. Barrett's actions marks the first time the justices have been asked to weigh in on the legality of a mandate that private and public entities increasingly believe will combat the spread of the pinko fucking pox. The Pentagon moved recently to mandate the vaccine for active duty military members, and California Governor, soon to be former California Governor, Gavin Newsom announced Wednesday that teachers and other school employees must be either vaccinated against COVID-19 or submit to regular testing. Indiana University requires students to be vaccinated by the start of the fall session on August 23rd. If students can't get both doses by then, they will be tested weekly until they can get the vaccine. They qualify for an exemption. They're also tested weekly. Indiana University is coercing students to give up their rights to bodily integrity, autonomy, and of medical treatment choice in exchange for the discretionary benefit of matriculating at IU. James Bopp, a lawyer for students who objected to the school's requirements, told the Supreme Court in an emergency petition asking the justices to act by the end of the week. Bopp said the students' refusal is based on legitimate concerns, including underlying medical conditions, having natural antibodies, and the risks associated with the vaccine. Lower courts have ruled against the students, citing a Supreme Court decision from 1905, which said that a state may require vaccines against smallpox. A panel of judges on the 7th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals, all Republican appointees, said that the vaccination requirements have been common in this nation and stressed that the school's policies allow exemptions for those who have medical issues related to the vaccine or religious objections. These plaintiffs just need to wear a mask and be tested, requirements that are not constitutionally problematic, the court held, and added that otherwise vaccination is a condition for attending the university. Those who do not want to be vaccinated may go elsewhere, which you should. You should. Because if they start losing 10, 20, 30, 40% of their tuition, they're going to change their tune really fucking quick. Really fucking quick. I don't know if you people understand that or not. But yes, they get government grants to hold up, especially because that's an Indiana university. It's a state school, I think. Somebody tweet Elaine and ask her if that's a state school or not. I think it's a state school. But they are getting government subsidies to stay up. But they still depend on tuition. They still depend on asses and seats. And they always will. The government can subsidize them fully, and they still depend on having asses and seats. And if they start losing asses and seats, they're going to go back and look at their policy and say, why are we losing asses and seats? And then they're going to realize that they made this rule and then they started losing asses and seats. And then they will do whatever they can to once again try to get asses in seats. It is all about 100% trying to get more asses in seats. One more time. They have to get asses in seats. But yes, I do love the fact that Amy Coney Barrett was going to be the most anti-vax justice in the world. She's a conspiracy theorist. She was appointed by a conspiracy theorist. And I don't agree with her decision either. I think it's actually fully unconstitutional to do this. But I'm always entertained by the fact that Kavanaugh and Barrett and Gorsuch, they're so evil, they're going to undermine the country and everything we worked for. And they side with the left more often than you'd like to think. All right, from the New York Post again. San Francisco tightens COVID vax mandate for customers and workers, from Jesse O'Neill. San Francisco announced strict restrictions on unvaccinated residents, banning them from any indoor and outdoor gatherings, even if they can prove they tested negative for the pinko fucking pox. The mandates, which go into effect on August 20th, are in place to safeguard the city's economic rebound as cases of the Delta variant continue their sharp uptick in California, leaders announced. This is to protect kids. Won't you think of the children? Oh my God! To protect those who can't get vaccinated is to make sure that we don't go backwards, is to make sure that I never have to get up in front of you and say, I'm sorry, I know we just reopened and now the city is closed again because we're seeing too many people die. Mayor London Breed, a Democrat, said on Thursday. Under the order, San Francisco, which has consistently imposed some of the nation's strictest measures to counter the virus, will demand proof of full vaccination for customers and staff at indoor restaurants, bars, gyms, and entertainment venues, including concerts and sporting events. Employees will have 2 months grace period to get vaccinated to preserve jobs while giving time for compliance, officials said. The rule will not apply to children 12 and under and others who are ineligible for the vaccine. So, there you go. That's what we're seeing coming out of San Francisco. I got curious about something one day. Now, I don't have the manpower or the money to do this. I wish I did. I wish we had enough of a staff of you guys where we could start breaking open all the cases of the... What is it up to now? They don't have the death ticker on the bottom of CNN anymore. What is it up to? Like 700,000 people that died of coronavirus. I wish we had the manpower to go through every single record. And like the Blaze, this would be right up fucking Crowder's alley of doing annoying shit that nobody cares about but still needs to be done. Except he's in the hospital getting his heart replaced right now. But crack open every single one of these deaths by coronavirus and verify that it's a real person. Verify an address and the existence of the person. Their time of death versus their time of birth. Actually go through and verify all of that. And then verify the cause of death for 700,000 people. Or whatever the fuck the number is. And by the way, I don't do swear jar and I don't do push-ups. So, deal with it. I would love to see somebody crack those numbers open and just see where all this goes. I'm more curious to see how many are actually real people. To be completely honest. Because there was an incentive to say, well, I had this person die in my hospital. Now give me money. I wonder where you'd even go to find that information. That would be an interesting question to ask too. All right, let's keep going. I got one from CNN for you guys. A little bit more on the San Francisco front. First major U.S. city announces it will mandate proof of full vaccination for certain indoor activities from Amir Vera and Sherry Mossberg. San Francisco became the first major U.S. city to mandate proof of full vaccination for certain indoor activities on Thursday. City residents aged 12 and over are now required to show proof that they've been fully vaccinated against COVID-19 in order to enter indoor restaurants, bars, gyms, and theaters, as well as large events in spaces with at least 1,000 people, according to an announcement from Mayor London Breed. The new mandate is scheduled to go into effect August 20th. Okay, here's a question, and this is one that, gets continually asked. So why don't we just ask it one more time here? If this is such an emergency, if this is such a death sentence, if you even breathe the same air as somebody who might have had coronavirus once in their life, why is the mandate? Why are they waiting 7 days for the mandate to go into effect? Why aren't they doing it right now? Right now. This is an emergency. This is a public health crisis. Make that mandate start fucking today. And don't even give people months to comply with or lose jobs. If they don't have the jab already, they don't work. They don't eat. Come on, London Breed. Show us how much of a fucking tyrant you really are. Show us how much you want to have your hands into everybody's life. And I do love the fact that now we're having the tyranny competition to see who can be the biggest tyrant the fastest, because London Breed now has to fight with Bill de Blasio, whose name isn't actually Bill de Blasio. It's Wilhelm something. It's something German. But she's got to fight with Bill de Blasio to make sure that that she is seen as the biggest tyrant, because you can't be a progressive unless you're a tyrant. So, if you're going to San Francisco, make sure to put some flowers in your hair and make sure to put some chemicals in your arm. I don't think Simon and Garfunkel could make that one sound poetic. Was that Simon and Garfunkel? Or am I off my fucking rocker? If you're going to San... Oh, it's Scott McKenzie. I was way off. Whoops. All right, from NBC. Here's a fun one for you guys. For those of you who love paying your politicians to not represent you, Nancy Pelosi announces House staff can now make almost $200,000. From Tegan Finn and Haley Talbot. House staff can now make up to $199,300 a year, Speaker Pelosi announced on Thursday. This important action follows steps taken over the last two Congress to make the House more inclusive, open, and representative of the full range of voices and values of our communities, Pelosi said in a letter to Democratic members. The decision to raise the maximum annual pay rate was meant to aid in recruitment and was recommended by House Administration Chair Zoe Lofgren of California, Pelosi said. The annual maximum pay for selected House staff in 2020 was $173,900 according to the Congressional Research Service. The House Select Committee on Modernization of Congress held a hearing earlier this year on ways to improve staff and retain top-tier talent. So, okay, I guess I was wrong. This isn't for House members, which I thought it was. This is for their aides and their staff and their chiefs of staff and people like that. Because I thought that members of the House only made $173,000. U.S. representative salary. Yeah, that's weird that some of their top aides can make more than them. Because the salary for a member of the U.S. House of Representatives is $174,000. So if their aides, their chiefs of staff, and everything are going to start making $190,000, well, I mean, their costs are going to go up, no matter what. Yeah, I thought that was referring to them, but yeah, look forward to them having a pay raise too at that point. Because my God, the help is not going to make more than we do. It's interesting. The maximum salary was $173,900 last year, and then the salary of the representatives themselves was $174,000 even. So it's just $100 less a year than the actual reps are making. All right, let's keep going. From the New York Post, deadly Lambda variant could be neutralizing vaccines, new study says. Are we setting up for the fact that we might see another economic crash when they start printing the money? We'll see. As the U.S. struggles to suppress the rapidly advancing coronavirus Delta variant, new evidence has emerged that the latest Lambda mutation, ravaging parts of South America, won't be slowed by vaccines. Nobody puts Lambda in a corner. I've seen that movie too, by the way. You can call me gay if you want. A lot of people have. In a July 28th report appearing on bioRxiv, where the study awaits peer review prior to getting published, researchers in Japan are sounding the alarm of the C37 variant, dubbed Lambda, and it's proven just as virulent as Delta thanks to a similar mutation, making them even more contagious. The strain has been contained in 26 countries, including substantial outbreaks in Chile, Peru, Argentina, and Ecuador. Notably, the vaccination rate in Chile is relatively high. The percentage of people who received at least one dose of COVID-19 vaccine was about 60%, the authors wrote. Nevertheless, a big COVID-19 surge has occurred in Chile in spring of 2021, suggesting that the Lambda variant is proficient in escaping from the antiviral immunity elicited by vaccination, they warn. The Lambda variant is thought to have emerged somewhere in South America between November and December of 2020 and has since turned up in countries throughout Europe, North America, and a few more isolated cases in Asia, according to GISAID data. Go get your jab, it's not going to do a goddamn thing. So says the WHO in Japan. Not necessarily what my opinion, Susan, don't ban me, bro. But so says Japan. Because the Lambda variant might neutralize it. What else do we have here? Mia Aoski, whose screen name is a bunch of Japanese characters that I can't read, and an emoji that I don't quite understand either. Sorry, Mia. Fuck! New buzzword psyop on the rise, my dudes. Pay attention to how much people are starting to say pandemic of the unvaccinated. This is more dehumanizing speech straight from the CIA and the government to make you see other humans as the virus, not the virus itself. Just another way to drive a deeper wedge between the neocast and see your fellow man as a plague on society. These people are sick and won't stop until there's blood in the streets from the feuding classes. The thing is, if they weren't pushing this so fucking hard, they probably wouldn't get this reaction from people. This is pure insanity. It's worth noting. Thank you, Miaowski. From the Hill. No new blood clots reported after UK restricted ages for AstraZeneca vaccine, from Jordan Williams. No new blood clots have been reported after the UK restricted the use of AstraZeneca's coronavirus vaccine for people under the age of 40. Reuters reported on Wednesday that a study published by the New England Journal of Medicine looked at the incidence of vaccine-induced immune thrombocytopenia and thrombosis. Wow. There's your $5 word for the day. Thrombocytopenia, a rare blood clotting disorder that has been labeled a side effect of the vaccine. Sue Pavert, a consultant hematologist who led the study, told reporters that the side effect usually affects younger people who were otherwise healthy, Reuters reported. But she said an initial spike of cases of the incident have subsided since Britain decided in May to only offer the vaccine to those over the age of 40. We haven't seen new cases for the last 4 weeks, and this has been a tremendous relief, Pavort said, according to Reuters. People under the age of 40 in the UK will usually be offered an mRNA vaccine manufactured by either Pfizer, the company that makes the deadly drug placebo, of Moderna. I think that means or Moderna. The study published Wednesday looked at 294 hospital patients in the UK who were suspected to have VITT between March 22nd and June 6th. Still not getting it. Still not getting it. From the New York Post, illegal immigrants being sent to major Texas cities without COVID tests. From Emily Crane. The border crisis continues to escalate. Processing facilities and agents are being swamped, resulting in illegal immigrants being sent to major cities without being tested for the pinko fucking pox. The city of Laredo reached an agreement last week with the Biden admin that allows it to send illegal immigrants to Austin, Dallas, and Houston after they're released by Border Patrol. Laredo Mayor Pete Saines, a Democrat, revealed Wednesday that the migrants are no longer being tested for COVID before being bussed out. No, that's fine. They'll be tested when they get to wherever they're going. No, it's fine. Oh, we'll give them a vaccine. Oh, no, just don't worry. Don't look over here. Previously, migrants were tested for the virus in Laredo immediately after being released by border agents. Under the new agreement, the city is no longer required to test them. F in the chat for Texas. From the Blaze. Democratic lawmaker says not even a reality that illegal immigrants are bringing COVID to the U.S. Blames unvaccinated Americans for spreading it. From Dave Urbanski. What the fuck is G Fuel? I hate the fact that I can't turn my ad blocker on for the Blaze. I hate the fact that Glenn Beck is getting money for me reading this. But nobody else was covering it. Democratic U.S. Rep. Cindy Axne of Iowa said it's not even a reality that illegal immigrants crossing the Mexican border are bringing COVID-19 here, and then proceeded to blame unvaccinated Americans for spreading it. Axne made her comments during the Let's Talk Guthrie County podcast on Raccoon Valley Radio earlier this week. The program's host noted the Congresswoman that Customs and Border Protection have apprehended more than 176,000 migrants from July 1st to July 28th of this year, and then asked actions to take in regard to illegal immigrants crossing the border with COVID-19 and possibly infecting U.S. citizens. And do I have video? I never have video. I don't know why I keep asking if I have video. I never have video. Here's how Axne replied. If people 1,300 miles away are infecting us with COVID, then we've got bigger problems than I thought. That's not even a reality. We all know COVID can't travel like that, because I said so. And we all know that, as you mentioned, folks are literally being detained at the border. So to say people are coming into the country and spreading this is so disingenuous. What we need are people in our own communities who won't get the vaccination to get the vaccination, because they're the ones who are spreading it. And unfortunately, we see too many people, young children, who can't get vaccinated. Their parents are very scared to send them back to school, and I can't blame them. Well, is it because of the pinko fucking pox, or is it because of the indoctrination that they discovered last year when everybody was homeschooled again? It's very scary to know that your child's being exposed to a dangerous pandemic because unfortunately others won't wear a mask or get vaccinated. It's certainly not coming from 1,300 miles away. Really? Because I was told last year that that's not how this works. And as soon as we saw the first cases coming in Seattle last year, that we were all doomed, it was going to kill us all, it was just going to travel everywhere, it was going to start wiping out people in swaths, and we were going to have mass graves. What a disingenuous fucking cunt. Cunt of the day. Right there. Representative Axne. Debbie Axne? Is that what it was? Cindy Axne. Disingenuous cunt of the day from CNN. Migrant kids describe raw food and extended stays at Texas temporary facility. Unaccompanied migrant children at a temporary facility in Pecos reported poor conditions, including undercooked food, long wait times for medical attention, and prolonged stays, according to court declarations on Monday. The accounts mark the latest set of concerns raised by children and attorneys placed in pop-up facilities overseen by the Department of Health and Human Services. Last week, the HHS Inspector General announced it's launching a review in the troubled Fort Bliss facility. It also shelters minors who cross the U.S. southern border alone. When we eat meals, the meat and eggs are sometimes a bit raw and the potatoes are a bit hard. Sometimes I worry about eating the food because I don't want to get sick. I know 2 kids threw up after eating the food, said 16-year-old from El Salvador who also suffers from anxiety attacks and is staying at the Pecos site. The 17-year-old from Honduras described trying to comfort a sibling who has been at the facility intended for temporary stays for more than 60 days. My brother has gotten depressed here. He gets upset when we learn disappointing information about our case, and we end up staying here longer. I try to cheer him up, and I help him stay strong throughout the process. The declaration reads, you know what's the most amazing thing about this? And we'll go on to the raw meat thing in just a second here, is that just yesterday on Twitter, when Jeff Tiedrich and his infinite assholeness came out and said, well, the border situation's under control because, I mean, we're not ripping children from the arms of their parents at the border anymore. Dude, this is from CNN, and you're seeing children here where a kid's got to comfort his brother because they're separated from their parents. It's still happening. And I'm not reading from the Daily Wire to tell you about this. It's right here in your golden standard of messianic news, CNN. You really think it's not happening anymore? And then somebody linked me a CNN article. Oh, well, we're trying to return kids to their families. That's cute. You're still separating people. And in fact, it looks like it's even worse than it was under the former admin. But let's go back on the raw meat thing for just a second, because what is with this administration, by the way? What is with this admin and giving raw meat to people that are not politically convenient for them? Because didn't we get this same report from the troops that were stationed in D.C. after the Selfie Fest and after the inauguration? Didn't we get this exact same report that they were getting undercooked meat for the troops that were stationed there? What is with this administration and raw meat? What is going on with this? We need to look into this. All right, we are not going to make it to the end of this, I don't think. We're close. We'll get close, but I don't think we're going to make it to the end. All right, let's power through here. But at 9, we're going to stop and we're going to start doing live chat for you guys. All right. ABC 7 Chicago. COVID Chicago. City's top doctor says no evidence Lollapalooza 2021 was a super spreader event. Surprise, surprise. Machine politics in Chicago need the increased revenue coming in from outside the community because they tanked their fucking economy last year. And one of the biggest events that gets held in the city, it's not a super spreader event. What are you talking about? From Mark Kawash and Jesse Kirsch. What do you want to bet? That Sturgis is going to be the super spreader event and Summerfest isn't going to be either. Chicago's top doctor said there's no evidence Lollapalooza was a super spreader event. 2 weeks ago, Thursday, Lollapalooza kicked off, and on Thursday morning, Chicago Department of Public Health Commissioner Dr. Allison Arwady gave some answers about cases linked to the big music festival. At 2 weeks since the start of the music fest, the city is well within the timeline to see COVID symptoms develop and cases be able to be identified that can be linked to the event, Arwady said, estimating 385,000 people were there throughout the 4-day festival. So far, only 203 attendees have tested positive, and about 0.05% of people who attended. The bottom line is we're not seeing anything that has surprised us related to this Lollapalooza outbreak, Arwady said. And yet, for the next month and a half, every single case that pops up in the entirety of the United States is going to be attributed to Sturgis. That's even if we talk about it all, because I am not confident we're going to continue talking about this. Because they got the million job report that they wanted. All right, let's see. What else do we have here? All right, and if you are lurking right now, get your last minute messages in because we do read live chat at the end of Friday, and I do want to say thank you especially to you. And I've got the names of everybody else who chatted in the live chat. We had a busy live chat week this week, by the way. You guys fucking rock. I've never had the notebook page this full before. So, mazel tov to you guys for filling the notebook. And since we have more people watching now than we did before, I got a cool cow in the front of my notebook too. But yeah, I want to fill this up, and I'm actually going to get a map for subscribers too. So if you subscribe, even with your Amazon Prime subscription, on Friday I will see who all the new subscribers are. I'm going to get a corkboard map to put behind me over on this side. And if you subscribe, your name will get put on a pin on the map, wherever you want it. It doesn't have to be your hometown. You don't have to dox yourself. But it'll be a world map, so like Mad Cow Mark can participate, and 80s Kid can participate if they want to subscribe on Twitch. And yeah, if you hit the subscribe button on Twitch and you pledge to me for even just a month, we'll put your name on a push pin and we'll put it on the map somewhere. Hopefully it'll be close to your hometown. It doesn't have to be. Like I say, you don't have to dox yourself, but hopefully it'll be there, and I want to fill up the map. I want to see where all the people who watch me are from, or want to claim. All right. Breaking report, incoming New York governor hints she may release nursing home data hidden by Cuomo. I was not able to find any verification on this, but reading from the Associated Press, and this will be the last one that we do for the day. We will save the rest of these for Monday. Cuomo exit isn't stopping the push for answers on nursing homes. Oh, so now we're going to pay attention to the nursing homes again. Now it's politically convenient. Now he can't do anything else from office, so now we're going to go push for this one here. Let's see, from Matt Sedensky. Sexual harassment allegations cost New York Governor Andy Cuomo his job. Now many want to see him answer for a scandal that cut the heart of his reputation as a pandemic hero and have had life and death consequences, his admin's handling of outbreaks in nursing homes. Months before a blistering investigation found Cuomo sexually harassed 11 women, the same AG concluded that the admin understated the true death toll in nursing homes by thousands, and that the fatalities may have been fueled by a state order that effectively forced such homes to accept recovering COVID-19 patients. Whatever actions may lie ahead on the harassment claims, families of the more than 15,000 New Yorkers who died in nursing homes say they want accountability too and are urging lawmakers in U.S. Justice Department to keep investigating Cuomo after he leaves office. The nursing home people and their families have not had a day of reckoning, said Vivian Zayas, who blames Cuomo for her mother's death at a West Islip, New York nursing home. This is not a victory yet, she said. A victory is when the whole nursing home scandal is blown open. I love it, Arvold. New York's Assembly has been moving towards impeachment of Cuomo before the Democrat announced his resignation, and his handling of nursing homes was set to be a part of that, with more than 500,000 pages of evidence gathered. No, it was not. I call bullshit on that. I call bullshit. They were ignoring this because this was not politically convenient. They only wanted to look at the deaths in nursing homes in places like Florida, where DeSantis is killing people, and Texas, where Abbott is killing people, and South Dakota, where Noem is killing people. But if they go after Cuomo, they have to go after Evers, and Whitmer, and Newsom, which they're already going after Newsom for other shit. But if they go after Cuomo for this, they're going to open up a big... I wonder if they're going to go after Whitmer, because she was the other big offender. Evers was not as much of an offender. He was a much milder offender in this. He did do this, but it was a much milder offender off of it. So I don't know if they'll throw him under the bus, but I want to know if they throw Cuomo under the bus, do they get Whitmer too? Are they going to get her too? That's the question that we have here. And that's actually going to be the last question that we have here. They really think we forgot that they completely ignored the nursing home thing. They really think we forgot. All right, you guys, we got to head out of here for the day. But before we get out of here for the day, let's throw the chat over here so we get some last minute messages in here, which we had a lot today. We got a lot of new names too, by the way, which is cool. We got a couple new followers too over on Twitch, I can see. Do we have anything else anywhere else? I got a few new ones over on DLive, but I think that was from Steven advertising yesterday. All right, anyway, let's get over here and let's actually get this done and finished out. All right, starting with the beginning of the week. On Monday, we had Quest Fanning, Mena the Butch, who I believe is Mana Mana. Highleaf 11 was here. Harvey McLeod was here. Ron Helton was here. McConnell Smuggles Coke was here. Random Randy was here. Chilaga 1984 showed up. Spartan 0000 Superior 1 was here. And Mad Cow Mark rounded out our day on Tuesday. Ron Helton, Quest Fanning, Ben Wild, Chilaga 1984. I want to just make sure that this gets read before it disappears off of here. Politics is the art of looking for trouble, finding it everywhere, diagnosing it incorrectly, and applying the wrong remedies. Groucho Marx. Just in case we get enough messages that gets bumped off to the top. That was a good one. I like that. Tuesday we had Ron Helton, Quest Fanning, Ben Wild, Chilaga 1984, MK Ultra Bear, R-Volt 24. Evildoer Voltaire YT was here, Blind Fear, and Casual Mining. I like Casual Mining. He's kind of cool. I'm not going to lie. Let's see, what else do we have here? On Wednesday, we had Quest Fanning, Ron Helton, R-Volt 24, Sully Blue stopped by. I don't see him as much as I used to, but he's still, he's pretty cool. So When he shows up, I like to say his name. I've hung out with the dude before too. Like actually physically hung out with him. So I think that's pretty cool. Mad Cow Mark was here, Chilaga 1984. B453D, which might be one of our robot followers here. MK Ultra Bear, Aimless Gamer, and JKN324229 asked, do we want to become famous? Buy followers, Twitch subs, and primes. BigFollows.com. What did we have yesterday? Ron Helton was here yesterday, Quest Fanning. Highleaf 11 was here. Chilaga 1984, Blind Fear. Katie Zed. Thanks, Katie Zed. Stimsy the Republican, that's a new name in here, and I saw him in here today too, so thank you. Arvolt 24, Mad Cow Mark, and Random Randy 8. So thank you guys for that. Thank you guys all for coming in here and hanging out. That's really cool. I like you guys. I like doing the news for you guys. All right, let's get into what we're seeing today, starting off from the top. Ron Helton, politics is the art of looking for trouble, finding it everywhere, diagnosing it incorrectly, and applying the wrong remedies. Groucho Marx, who is not related to Karl Marx. Ben Wild is just stopping by to say howdy. I have a day of content filming planned. Well, good deal, Ben Wild. I didn't know you did content. I knew I was on a list. Yes, you're all on the list now. Which, if you tuned into this channel before, you were already on a list. Ben Wild says, email the web ladies how I describe getting oral. That's not how I do it. Ron Helton says, politics is a super spreader and destroyer. I tell you, my mullet and stash are a super spreader. Yeah, I didn't do the mullet. I don't do the business in the front side of it. Katie Zed is here because she needs to fill up her gas tank. I should have done it yesterday. It's not getting any cheaper. Yeah, I got to go out of town, so I've actually got to fill up too. So usually, because I only fill up if I go to a Shell. That's the only time I fill to the top. Otherwise, it's just throw 20 in here, 20 in there. But Shell, if I fill it up, I get 100 more miles out of a tank. And yeah, since I'm going out of town, I got to fill all the way up tomorrow. So I will do that, and we'll talk about that at the end of here once we flip off and do the main scene, the main webcam scene. Chilaga says, speaking of platforms, feels weird being on Twitch right now. Good morning, KT. Welcome, Chilaga. Yeah, it's really weird with Steven not being on Twitch too, because I have nobody to raid at the end of this. Ron Helton says, Porch Boys. Yes, that's John's new project over from the Generational Gap. He's doing a new project. He's working with Seawall and Midget B, of all people. So I don't know how long they're going to stay on YouTube. I don't know how long the YouTube gods are going to let them stay, but yeah, I'm nervous. Blush, which is a new name here, and also somebody who followed, by the way, so thank you. You think we should go back to Afghanistan? No, I do not. Katie Zed says, I prefer to invest in blood diamonds. T-Bird the Third, a new name in here as well. Sigma Male Grindset, Katie Zed. Blue says, I only invest in mortgage-backed securities. Nice. Blue says, AOC 2024. Okay, I'm going to run for president, Papi, okay? That's what we're going to do. It's going to be my nation, okay, Papi? Yeah, that's a great idea. All women should be in power. Thank you, Katie Zed. Ron Helton says, eBay is the new AOL. Just saying. Seabiscuit should have won an Oscar. Nice. Hillary and AOC should share an office. And they should share a cell. T-Bird the Third says, really, PBS had an interview with Al-Qaeda recently trying to rebrand them as freedom fighters. Pretty sure Joe Biden has a 50-year backing, 50-year history probably of backing jihadists, be it in Afghanistan, Albania, Libya, or Syria. Well, I know the Libyans are the most terrifying threat because sometimes people in this country promise them a bomb and give them a shiny bomb casing full of used pinball parts. And then they shoot a rocket launcher at a mall in California, out in the desert. The Libyans, Marty! Ron Helton says, I know people who sell on the site, and they're becoming increasingly disgusted with the constant meddling and changes by eBay. Katie Zed says, I keep forgetting I have no power over here anymore. Let's fix that. Where are you, Katie Zed? Katie Zed. Katie Zed has a wrench over here. Huzzahs are in order. All hail. Belush says, yay, we fucked up so many young Americans for absolutely no reason. Great job. Great war. T-Bird the Third says, 20 years of nation building. So worth it or not? Dude, this T-Bird the Third guy, I hope he's still here because he's fucking based as shit. I like this. T-Bird the Third says, depending on if you made a killing selling heroin. And Belush had to come back out here and repost what he posted without the caps. Yeah, I don't do spam caps in here. The robot takes care of things. T-Base T. Can I say that on YouTube? I'm gonna chance it. I'm gonna see what they say. T-Bird the Third says, I like January 6th and I hope it will be the new norm. Your politicians should be freaked out every once in a while. That's based as shit, dude. Holy shit, that's based. If this guy's not here, I hope he comes back, because that is based as fuck. Sea of Noise is here. Bad on the U.S. for making the Taliban. Shilaga says, give KT the sword. Done. Dr. Gulag. Sucks for young girls who have lived under Taliban rule. And then a Yahoo News article that we're not going to be looking into. Belush says Afghanistan isn't going to last till September 11th to pull out of anything. Katie Zed says, it's crazy in here. The Normans are invading. Dr. Gulag says, no links. Well, it sucks for young girls. The Taliban leadership has requested a list of all unmarried women, 15 to 45, were to be given to Taliban fighters as wives. The young generation has never lived under Taliban rule. It's going to be a culture shock. What's up, Doc? Normans. Random Randy just came over to see if I'm a mod. I think, no, you're not either. I thought you were too. Because that's where we get our stupid people is on Twitch. So I don't have many mods on most platforms, but we get our stupid people on Twitch. So I have no problem having more mods over there. Let's see. Katie Zed says, is this all fallout from Twitter shenanigans the other day? I don't think so. I don't think we're getting that many people here from over on that. I don't think I made enough of a ripple off of them. Oh, by the way, all hail. Random Randy's a mod too. Sea of Noise says, wars of rackets and industry. Katie Zed says, you hold no power here, Random Randy. That has changed. So the Afghans are taking their country back. How shocking. Nah. No, a paramilitary wing of independent fighters from around the Middle East are taking back the country from the Afghans. T-Bird the Third said, sucks for young girls, you absolute heartless bastard. Those young boys are bound by law to provide for their families. A lot of them have to prostitute themselves while the girls go to Western-funded schools and refuse to work after turning 18, still relying on their fathers or brothers to support them. I don't think you know that much about Afghanistan. I don't know that much about Afghanistan, so all of this is news to me. Belush says, Benghazi 2.0, here we go. These Normans are worse than D-Day. Belush says, send the ambassador back to be the ambassador to the Taliban Republic of Afghanistan. That's kind of base too, I'm not going to lie. Ron says Bush is not a Texan. He's a damn Yankee. Random Randy says the countdown date was always meant to get them froggy, so we'd have to stay due to recent activities. Yep. Where are we going to stay? The airport? No amount of combing in Washington changed that war pick Bush into a real Texan. Random Randy says they're just engaging in a most peaceful occupation. They learned how much we'll put up with from last year. Katie Zett says, somebody say bombing brown kids. I'm intrigued. Random Randy says, KT, I'm a Twitch noob. What does your crown mean? It means that she is a subscriber somewhere else, but not here. We got some F's in the chat. I guess I'm the queen of D-Live now. I don't even know what I'm doing over there. Throwing lemons, that's what you're doing. Throw some lemons if you want to, if you're watching over. I don't even know if there are people watching over on D-Live. I'm not going to lie. I don't just look. It doesn't give me an indicator like Twitch does. Let's see. I like Twitch only because you can lock your phone or press play if you're doing used word or something. And the Spurgs. Yeah, the Spurgs are fun. Maybe they'll find the Giant of Kandahar. Yes, the Normans are great over here. The Normans. Every time I see the Gilded plug, I read it as Jaded for no legitimate reason. That would be funny chat app name. KTZ has been jaded for a while. It would be a huge strategic blunder on the part of the Afghans to attack the embassy. The warmongers will use this as an excuse to continue murdering people there. Well, yeah, they're going to do that anyway. Yeah, jaded from having to create another account. Or help grow our jaded community. Come join your jaded friends. Exactly, Ron. Why give the U.S. an excuse to say they're going to take it anyway? It's as if this is exactly how it played out when Obama announced he was pulling out too. Well, you know, I gotta pull out. You know, we gave Michelle or me, depending on who it is, really. We gave ourselves 2 wonderful kids, and now I gotta pull out forever. So, well, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna pull out of Michelle. I'm gonna stick it right into the American economy. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna bend that American economy over. I'm gonna fuck that thing. Yeah, they tried to pull it a few times. Chilaga loves some maps. Random Randy says, I have a Call of Duty mobile streamer I watch, and people ask him his favorite mobile game after CODM, and he's always saying Google Maps. When Mr. Zed was over there, his Afghani interpreter was supposed to have a path to the U.S. as part of his contract with the DoD. Long story short, the U.S. dragged their feet, and the Taliban got to him and his family first. F. That jaded Mr. Zed. Indeed. There's no reason to go to war with China. What's with the war strategy? The Afghans are taking their country back. No, they'll be sitting ducks. Yeah, probably. Did the warmongers really believe that Afghanistan would turn into an American ally after they illegally invaded them? No, they believed that they were going to put a puppet government over there. But I saw a meme the other day talking about how high the number of new jobs was. They didn't mention it was below projections. It was funny when Jen Psaki made a point a few months ago that the gas was the same in 2018. You know, when the markets were worried about midterms, there's always a pullback in investments. Poor dumb people who don't understand that's not how it works, even if he had actual proof of Trump's win. So F Indiana University. If they want to test me regularly, I choose the anal swab, just to make it as uncomfortable as I can for all. Katie Zed says, no education for you, unvaccinated vermin. Shilag says, I'm hitting the transfer portal. It's a state school. I went there. Oh, cool, Chilaga. Thank you. I didn't know. Katie Zed says, my niece and nephew both go to the University of Tennessee in Knoxville and are not required to be vaccinated. This decision has to hurt IU's sports ball teams too, those bastards. My nephew got it, but my niece opted not to get it because she wants to have kids someday. Quest Fanning is here on the YouTube side. Good morning. Good call by your niece. I'm nervous my 12-year-old niece's parents will get her jabbed, says Chilaga. Wow, you guys have been really busy today, which fucking rocks. Plus, we had the Normans. God bless the Normans. Fanning says, really crazy to be putting the onus on the businesses. Ron says, students should walk out in mass, same for any of these businesses requiring vaxes and proof of vax. Katie Z says, I'll take on 10 cases, who has the rest? Well, it'll be busy. I would like to see how this goes, though. Fanning says, yesterday when I was having lunch, the bartender was apprehensive and annoyed at the idea of being asked to verify vaccine status, etc. There will be confrontation. Stimsy, the Republican, says Trump 2024. No, thank you. But if that's who you want to vote for, I'm not going to stop you. CNN equals fake news. The Israeli flag. Random Brandy says 90% false positivity rate. Ron Helt says Barrett is just another parasite from the legal guild. She's not going to protect individual rights or liberty. This is a mafia government. Ron Helton with the black pills, as always. Stimsy says give everyone the vaccine and remove the lockdowns. Well, only if they want the vaccine. We don't do shit by force here. Fanning says, she said that if the city or state government wants it to happen, they should be the ones providing the personnel. Yes. Wolf 336 with the Biden sniffing sticker. Katie Z says no one needs the vaccine unless you have an underlying condition and lockdowns are unconstitutional. Chilaga says it seems confrontations are their goal based. Fanning says these salaries, they're living in an imaginary world. Top advisors to the New York City mayor make like $500,000. Gay. Do you trust the plan yet? Or did I mishear that? You weren't here, fucker. You were still watching Austin Peterson. I know you were. Love you, Quest. Katie Z says thrombosis sounds like a deli meat. Katie Z says cunt of the day. Love that. With folks coming from out of town, who would have to look beyond the city to know if Lollapalooza spread the virus? Or wouldn't you have to look beyond the city? Yes, you would. I didn't get my Prime subscription back when they deleted the account that I subbed to. Chilaga says, put mine in Broward County. Well, you got to hit the sub button first, but we'll get there. Don't hit the sub button until I actually have the board up there, because I want to actually be able to give you guys a reward. So don't do it until then, but yes, once we get the board up there, I do want to fill that board with all the awesome followers here. And I'm not going to take the pin down if you unsub after a month either. I'm not going to be that guy. So once you're subbed, the pin stays up until I move. And when I move, by the way, which hopefully will be this coming spring, when I move, we'll start it all over. And then you'll have to subscribe again to get the pin up. But that will be incentive for you to subscribe again. One Twitch sub equals one pin. And if somebody gifts you a sub, you still get the pin. Let's see. Chilaga says, put mine in Broward County. We're going to put your name on a map. Not today, NSA. Thank you, Arfold. Can I make it onto the map even though I got kicked off Twitch? We'll work something out because you put a lot of money into this show too. So Arfold says, as if the NSA doesn't already know where I am. Fanning says, the nursing home decision infuriated me. A Democrat small-town mayor put it well. This is the problem with henchmen, or when henchmen become the boss. Dorian. Can I pan that out, or do I just have to do the side one? No, don't dock that, you fucker. That's what I see when I see Andy Cuomo. That guy. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me he doesn't look like that. Especially that picture right there. That's Andy Cuomo to me. Let's see. Random Randy says, want to become famous? Go to randyfollows.com. Quest says, 93 Octane can help and nice V8 like you have. No, I'm actually supposed to be running a lower octane on mine. Because I asked about it. It's the same thing with the EcoBoost too. Because when my ex and I bought the Fusion with the EcoBoost engine, I thought that we had to put premium into it. But no, it turns out that one runs on pump gas too, which surprised me. Because usually forced air engines, you have to run premium on. Because otherwise they knock like a bitch. All right, 93 Octane, it can help with the V8. Katie Z says, I'm here. Oh, what the fuck? Randy is next. That's what she said. Nice. Katie Z says, woman in power. Arvolt says, Ed. Katie has a wrench. All hail. Me. All hell. Oh, I didn't see that. I saw the all hail comment. I didn't see the end of it the first time. Because I saw it when you posted it. Because I had the Twitch window open over here. I saw it when you posted it because the Restream bot put it up. But I didn't see the all hell part. Oh shit, I got the coof. Katie says is alright, everyone's banned. She can only get you where you are, Arvolt. She's better than Chilaga muting Restream. Random Randy says, I see no sword yet. Let me see if I see it now. You got one now. There. Oh, yep. Whoop, there it is. Whoop, there it is. Chilaga says, looks good on you, Randy. How do you see DLive stickers in the chat? The Restream bot will show me the DLive stickers. Like, it won't send them out to the other Restream programs because they don't have the programming to do it. But the program that I use to meld everything together will show me the DLive stickers. But yeah, like, Twitch doesn't have the programming to see that sticker. But Restream bot does. That's how I can see it, but you guys can't. It's the same thing with like emotes coming out of Twitch. You can't see those on the other platforms. Like if you get the feels good man, if you put that emote up, it'll just say feels good man, LUL in everybody else's chat. Because DLive and YouTube don't have the programming to show that same emote that you get from Twitch. Questfang says, I always go back for the intro. Can a subscribe star sub count for the board? I will think about that. Because I have not planned out how this goes. Part of me wants to say no because I still want to stick it to fucking Bezos and say, hey, I'm earning money through your program. Do something about it, you dumb bitch. But part of me also wants to say that, yes, you guys are giving me money and I want to appreciate it. I will think about that. That is under consideration. That is under consideration. We will consider that as we go. That might be a yes. Because the thanks and the appreciation for people who are sending me money should outweigh my desire to stick it to fucking Bezos. And say, haha, I have unpopular opinions and I'm still making money on your platform, you dumb bitch. And Arvolt will get last word and say, glad I could provide a hearty, good laugh. Let's throw some music up and get out of here. And we got a couple announcements at the end too. So let's throw some music up. Let's change the scene. Let's not look at a greasy Italian mob boss from a 90s movie. And let's get out of here for the day. All right, so a couple announcements here before we go over and check out Stephen Ignoramus, which I'm going to have to like cut and run and get the hell out of here pretty quick because I've got to leave for work like now. But before we head out of here, I do want to announce that there's not going to be across the board this weekend. I had, it's not a family, like everybody that's close to me is okay, but I need to be somewhere else this weekend for emotional support for my family. Because they're all really shaken by this. I'm not as shaken by this than everyone else is, but I do need to be there for them. So We're canceling across the board this weekend. We are doing it next weekend, and I think I've already got a full show for this already. So there's some good people for there. I've actually got to go check with the men for the channel, because I think I've got both the women for it this time, which is an unusual turn of events, because usually it's the other way around. Usually it's I've got all kinds of men that want to sit in the positions, but I don't have any women that want to be on the show. So we will do that in 8 days. So that will be, what's tomorrow, the 14th. So on the 21st, we're going to do this. We'll sit down, we'll do across the board, and we'll talk about the infrastructure package and the new one that's coming up here. So look forward to that. That's going to be at 5:30 Central Time, August 21st. Featuring some new names on here that you guys probably have never seen in a video stream as well. So look forward to that. Otherwise, we'll be back here this coming Monday for Contemporary and the Red Net Show, featuring Jessica Green again. She's graciously offered to help out because she can help out on a lot less prep than most of the other guests can. So she'll be coming out here helping me out again in the morning. Thanks once again to Jessica for that, because as soon as I found out about this and found out that I need to be away this weekend, I had no idea what I was going to do for the Red Net Show this week. So she is gracious to help me come back and hang out with us again Monday night, 5:30 Central. Until then, you guys, take care. Let's go see you on Stephen Ignoramus's chat. And until then, I'm Jay Edgar, and this is Contemporary. Take care.